Hi, this is Danny Cachuela again. This is a follow-up video to the one I posted regarding dual citizenship. I received a lot of requests from people for me to post something about the process of applying for dual citizenship. So here it is. Enjoy the video. Talk about is who qualifies to apply for dual citizenship. There are several provisions in the code of the Philippines on how you apply for citizenship, but what we're going to talk about is strictly dual citizenship. If you're an American, simply going to the Philippines and applying for citizenship, you can, but that will be a different topic. This one is only for Filipinos who are natural born, left the country, lost their citizenship, and now wants to regain or recapture their citizenship. Okay? Republic Act 9225 only applies to natural born Filipinos who lost their Philippine citizenship through naturalization in another country. Now, foreigners who wish to acquire Filipino citizenship through naturalization could apply under a different law, but not under 9225. This is not, and by the way, this is not part of the presentation, okay? This is only going to talk about 9225, and that applies to natural-born Filipinos. Now, 9225 does not apply to those born in the U.S., okay, if you were born before January 17, 1973 to a Filipino father at the time of birth, or if you were born after January 17, 1973 to Filipino father or mother at the time of the birth. It looks like as of January 17, 1973, they changed the law. It used to be that this law does not apply if you only had Filipino father, but now after January 1973, it could be either a Filipino father or a mother. Okay. Now, the reason it does not apply is under either of these two scenarios, you are already a dual citizen by birth, and all you have to do is comply with the report of birth requirement. Okay. When you are born, you have an American or foreign birth certificate. Philippines did not know that you existed. So the first thing to do is to file what they call a report of birth requirement so that the Philippines will know that you were born and that you qualify. That means you're already a dual citizen. Now, when you're applying for dual citizenship, what documents are required? Well, a completed application form, of course. Petition for reacquisition of Philippine citizenship, you will have to execute that. An oath of allegiance, 3 2x2 colored passport, or 3 2x2 colored photo with white background, your birth certificate. By the way, NSO, so-called National Statistics Office, now requires that you obtain their NSO certificate. No more birth certificate if you were born in the Philippines. And the reason for that is it looks like back whenever, I don't know exactly when, they formed this NSO, so they put all the birth certificate in their system. And from that point on, they no longer require your birth certificate. You just need to request for an NSO certification, and that basically certifies that you were born in the Philippines as of a given date. A copy of your foreign birth certificate if you are born outside the U.S., photocopy of your foreign passport, because at this point you do not have a Philippine passport yet, only foreign passport. A certificate of naturalization or other documents showing that you were naturalized, let's say, U.S. citizen. 2 pieces of self-addressed, self-stamped envelope, and of course, very important, a fee of $50. Now, here's how the process works. Make sure that you have all the required documents, that they are in your possession. Go to the Philippine consulate or embassy as early as possible that has jurisdiction over your place of birth in the U.S. Now, here I have a question over your place of birth. That means if I was born in Philadelphia, well, the consulate that covers the Philadelphia area is New York. That means I have to go to New York. I'm not sure that still applies, but keep that in mind. Present the petition for dual citizenship and issuance of ID or identification certificate, along with all the required documents and a fee of $50. The original birth certificate issued to your parents when you were born is no longer acceptable. I just explained that. They usually require an NSO. If you do not have this, it will cause some delay unless you argue and win that the original birth certificate should be acceptable. Bring all documents. I'm going to explain that a little bit more later. Bring all documents with you, including expired passports, current passports, extra pictures, birth certificate from the Philippines or US, other proof of birth, naturalization certificates, self-addressed envelope stamps. If in doubt, just bring it with you. Also, photocopy the documents, because photocopying of documents at the consulate will cause delay and cost you money. They charge too much. All right? You will be interviewed, and if everything goes well, you'll be asked to come back in the afternoon for an oath taking, and you will walk away with the dual citizenship papers. Now, this is based on our experience in New York. The NSO, for example, theoretically or technically, is no longer acceptable today. You need an NSO. But if all you have is that birth certificate, fight and argue why they should not accept that. In our case, and also in New York City, okay, I don't know how it is in other locations, I argued and they accepted it when I was applying for dual. But when I was applying for a passport, they wouldn't accept it. I had to argue hard and I still got it. I didn't have to do it as hard as I did on the passport when I was applying for dual citizenship. They just very quickly accepted it. But the passport, I had a tough time. I had to ask for the consul. I talked to the consul and they said, well, why can you not ask a relative to fix it for you? I said, I don't have any more relatives in the Philippines. I have been here for 48 years. They're all here and other relatives are dead. And somehow I was able to convince them and they were able to issue a passport to me, and I did not have to present them with an NSO. All right, so that's the long story there. Now, I said here you will be interviewed, and if everything goes well, you'll be asked to come back in the afternoon for oath taking, and we'll walk away with dual citizenship. That is based on our experience in New York. Now, recently, as of February 26, 2019, I checked the website, and this is based on the embassy's website in Washington, D.C. And look at this. For dual citizenship, they said there's a processing schedule. If your application is received Thursday, Friday, Monday, between 9 and 3 p.m., the oath taking will not be scheduled until Tuesday. That means if you arrive there on Monday and filled out the application, the next day you will be able to get the oath taking and, of course, your dual citizenship papers. If you go there Thursday or Friday, it will not be until the following week. So that's strange. So I don't know if this is because of a change, okay? So you will still have to call. If the application is received Tuesday or Wednesday, other than Thursday, Friday, Monday, oath taking will be Thursday. Now, for the passport, they accept it all the time between 9 and 3 on weekdays, but it will take 6 to 8 weeks from the application before you get your passport. And the reason for that is they do not process the passport here. When you apply, they forward all the paperwork in Manila, and Manila processes it and sends the passport from Manila to the consulate here. Then the consulate will contact you or just go ahead and mail it to you. Then you come pick it up. And that's why it takes 6 to 8 weeks. Now, be sure to call your consular office for hours of operation and ask them about the procedure. Now that you know the procedure and the documentation, you're now equipped with what questions to ask when you call them, okay? So ask them about the procedure and the timing of how long each step will take. It's possible that they are no longer processing it the same day. It's possible that they're accepting the application by mail, and maybe you could just mail it to them, and so forth and so on. But in our case, we applied in person in New York City, and everything was done in one day. So be sure to inquire about the outreach program also. Well, let me explain what an outreach program is. My daughter was born in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and then she moved to Seattle, Washington. Now, in Seattle, Washington, she called the consulate in California. I believe it's based in San Francisco or Los Angeles, California. And that's where she got all the information and all the forms. Meanwhile, I sent her all her paperwork from Philadelphia, including copies of my naturalization, just so she has paperwork to prove that she was born of a father who was originally Filipino citizen and became now a dual citizen. So I sent them copies of all, and I had each and every copy notarized just so there won't be any questions. So it's a certified true copy of the original. That's the notary. Well, as it turned out, they didn't even need the notarization. They just accepted the copies. Now, the reason I'm doing that, as I said, is you may, let's say, have to drive to New York, or in my daughter's case, she may have to drive to Seattle, Washington, and if there are any missing papers, she will have to do it all over again. And that is the reason why I sent everything to her, whether I know they need it or not, so that in case they need it, then she has a copy. And in case they need a notarized copy, she has a notarized copy. So prepare everything yourself. Now, the outreach program, as I said, my daughter applied in San Francisco. She did not have to drive to San Francisco. All she had to do is to find out when the outreach program is, and they have a representative who went to Seattle, and at that point she met with them. Okay? So the outreach program is a program wherein the consulate will schedule on a certain date, on a given day of the year, they will come and you can apply there without going to the office or the main office. So be sure you inquire about that. Because I think they only have that once a year or maybe twice a year. I don't know. Further inquiries on the subject, well, here is the phone number I'm giving you. Now, well, as of this February 26th, their website said it should be Mr. Silverio Maguera or Joey Macatula. But at any rate, the name is not important, but it's the phone number. Call this phone number, call the embassy, ask questions, including where you should apply, depending on your residence. You may be required to contact them and get the contact information, then ask for the same information again, making sure that you are equipped with everything, that all the information that you need and all the documents that you need before you go there or before you...
Well, so there you have it. It's really simple and easy to apply for dual citizenship. That is after you learn about the process. And applying for it is really, really easy. That it really makes more sense for most people anyway to apply for dual citizenship, especially if you're of a retirement age. You get a lot of benefit and not much of the detriment, as I explained in my earlier video. Okay, so please subscribe on my channel, and I'll appreciate it so that you will get quick updates on any new postings that I may have.